the Leetcode problem, that is count and say. This is a Leetcode medium. The problem statement goes by: the count and say sequence is a sequence of digits, strings defined by recursive formula count and say one. So I will not go into the problem statement because this problem statement is not pretty clear. I'll just explain it to you what the problem statement is trying to say. So let's say suppose we'll be given a digit that is equals to n. So let's say suppose the value of n is equals to 5. So we will need to form some number. Okay, and what this number will be given by. So let's say if my number is 5, so I will derive this number from its n minus 1th guy, that is 4. So I'll derive this from 4. So let's say suppose just for an example I'm taking this 4 is this. So I'll be deriving 5 from 4. So the 4 n is equals to 4 has a value of this guy. So how we will derive this? This is very simple. So first of all, I'll count the consecutive guys that I have. So I have 3 twos, right? So how we will say this? So I will say we have 2 threes. Here what do we have? Sorry, it is two threes. So here we have two threes. The count of three is what? Two. And how many numbers of three do I have? And what is the number that we have? That is equals to three, right? So the count is equals to two, and the number that here is three. So this is what we have got from here. After that, what do we have got here? So I see that I have got one, two, three, three twos. That means I have the frequency of 2 is 3. That means 3 twos. So I will write simply 3 2. Here we have got 1 5. So what is the frequency of 5? That is equals to 1. And what is the number? That is equals to 5. What is the frequency of 1? 1. And the number 1. So this is pretty much the question that it is saying here. If not, I'll just explain this once again, just for clarity. Let's say I have a number 1, 2. So I will say how many ones do I have here? I have only one ones, right? So I'll write 1, the count of ones, and the number itself. How many twos do I have? 1 twos. So I'll write the number of count of 2 and the number then. So this is how it will be forming. So now let's get to the question what it is telling us to find. So we are given n and we need to give the nth term of count and say sequence. So here it's given that for n is equals to 1, we will be having the value is equals to 1. And if we go to the hint, there is a table given. So we can figure out. So if we have been given the value 2, so how do we find 1? So I know in 1 what do we have? I have one here. I'm seeing that I have one here. What is the count of this one? It is 1, right? And the number 1 itself. So this is what my 2 is. If I need to find 3, what how we will find it? We will find it from 2, right? So in order to find 3, we need 2. This is the dependency. So how do we find 3? So if I have 2, I can easily find 3. So I have what? Two ones here. What is the count of 1? That is equals to 2. And what is the number that we have counted? That is 1 itself. So this is what 3 is, 2 and 1. So just the last example, that is equals to 4. How do we find 4? We find it from 3. And how do we get this number right here? So we are here. How many number of 2's do I have? I have only 1 2, right? The frequency of 2 is what? 1. So this is the 1. And what is the number? The number is 2 itself. So I'll write 2. Now for 2 it's done. Now I'll go to this guy right here. I'll see I have the frequency of 1 as 1 because 1 is occurring only one time. So I'll write the frequency, and what is the number that I've counted the frequency for? That is equals to 1. So I'll write 1 here. And this is nothing but the nth sequence, that is 4, which I was told to find. So at first I had the recursion way implemented, but then I also did the iterative way. I'll first show you the iterative, and then I'll move on to the recursive way, which I thought of at first. So this is the iterative way. So it is pretty much clear that if the value of n is equals to 1, we need to return 1. So this is the base case. So I have initialized my answer to 1. Now let's see what have I been given? I have been given 5. Let's say I have been given 5. Or let's take a smaller example. Let's say I have been given 3. I'll just go through this whole code that I've written here. So I've got 3. What is the value of temp? This is a empty string. And why I have taken this? I'll just get to it. Since I will be forming all the strings. So I know for 1 it is 1, surely, right? So for n, what will I be doing? For 3, what will I be doing? I need what and what? I need the value of 2 as well as the value of 1. And since I already know 1, so I can calculate 2, right? So this is nothing but calculating 2. How do we do that? Uh, this cout statement is not required. There should be a closing brace here. Okay, so let's get to the algorithm, the code actually. So what I have here, answer dot size, and I know in my answer what have I stored? 1 already, since I know the first value will always be 1. And what is the count? I've put the count as 1. And why I'm doing that, I'll get to it. So I know, as I said while I was explaining the question, I just need to find the count of this guy. When I find this count of this guy, I'll just insert it into my temporary string that I'm forming, which will be my new answer. And after that, I'll just put in which numbers frequency was I finding. So let's say, suppose if I have a number 2, 1. So as I explained previously, what will I do? I will just say, what is the count of 2 here? It is 1. Indeed. So I'll just put 1. What is the number for which I was counting? The number of frequencies? It was 2. So I'll just put 2 here. I'm done for this 2 right here. I just have 1 left. So I'll count what is the number of ones that I've got in my string, that is equals to 1. So put 1 here. What is the number for which I was finding the frequency? That is equals to 1. So 1. So this is my new number which I was forming, and this is formed. So this is how it goes. So I'm simply looping through the answer that we have got. So for the first one, I have 1. So I'll check if the I plus I is equals to I plus 1. That if it is similar, then do a count plus plus and I plus plus. This step is nothing but counting the frequency. Count is counting the frequency, and I is incrementing if we have similar values. So let's take an example of 1, 1, 2, 1. So if I have my answer as something like this, I'm starting from temp. I'm seeing I and I plus 1 are similar, right? So what will my count be? My count will be 2, since my count was previously 1, right? So what did I tell? I'll just count the frequency of 1. What is it? 2. Done. Now I come out of the loop. What do I do? I just convert it to string variable right here, and I add it. So what have I done? I know my count is equals to 2. Add it to my temporary string. So my temporary string looks something like this right now. That is equals to 2. After this step, I am pushing answer of I. What was answer of I? It was nothing but this guy right here, 1. What was the number for which I was finding the frequency of? So my answer string just pushes back this guy right here. So this is how it looks right now. So this is done. After that, I'm done doing the iteration for once. Now I'll go to 2. I has moved here, and my answer is looking something like this. And what will my temp look like? Let's get to it. So I and I plus 1 are not similar. So I know my count of 2 is only 1. So I'll put 1 here. So I've put 1 here. After that, what was my number that for which I was finding the count? That is 2. So put in here 2. After that, what is the number? What is the count? Just similarly do this process, and we'll get something like this. So this was go through of the code which I explained with an example. I'll just run it and I'll show it to you, and it's working perfectly fine. And I've already submitted this code, by the way. Okay. Okay, this should not be here. This I was just explaining this. And I'll also show you the recursive approach. Okay, this is working fine. I'll just show you for the value that is n is equals to 30 max. I'll just run this also and just show it to you. N is equals to 30. It is working perfectly fine. And I'll just get to the recursion code. Okay, this is also getting accepted. So if you just submit this, this will get accepted. Let's get to the recursive code that I implemented at first. Okay, so actually I'll just show the recursive code in the next video that I'll be uploading. So